Welcome back.
Welcome back, you guys. New episode of Makeup Meets Skin, where art and science meet beauty.
All right, what are we going to talk about today?
Today we're going to talk about the difference between skincare and skin prep under makeup.
This is a good topic for you.
This is a great topic for me. I know a lot of stuff about it. Okay, so do you have any questions for me? First thing first, do you know what skincare is compared to skin prep?
Well, I know what skincare is.
Okay, what is skin prep?
How you prep your skin for makeup.
Okay.
So it's how you get my skin ready before a makeup application.
Right. Well, yes and no. Yes and no. Okay, so you teach me something now. What is skincare?
Skincare is prepping your barrier, so your skin for daily life.
Okay, so with makeup, makeup is made by two parts mostly. One part is called the vehicle, which is the base where the pigment is suspended in, and the second part is the pigment. So every cosmetic product has a wet component and a dry component. Dry component is the pigment, the color. The wet component is all the other ingredients. Okay, so skincare is a vehicle of some sort, plus active ingredients, depending what they're targeting.
Yes.
And no pigment. Unless you have like a tinted moisturizer with SPF, then you have pigment in there, okay? Yes. But that's kind of like a hybrid. So there's a difference between skincare and skin prep in makeup. We consider skincare everything that it doesn't necessarily have to have active ingredients in it. It's just your toner, your glycolic acid pads, your moisturizer, your serum, if you use all of that. And then skin prep in makeup, we consider the primers.
Okay.
So every makeup application has some skincare and some skin prep.
So they go hand in hand.
They do go hand in hand. The problem is that not every product goes hand in hand with the other product.
True.
Okay. So I see a lot of time people complaining that they put a certain foundation on or a concealer or blush and the products don't stick together, or one lifts the one that's underneath, or they start piling and making little weird things. Okay?
Yes.
That is because the ingredients are not compatible.
Okay.
The ingredients that are not compatible can be between the two makeup products, so maybe a blush and a foundation, but can also be that they're not compatible, the base products, foundation for example, with the primers. It can also be that the cosmetic products are not compatible with the skincare that we did before. It can also be that the skincare and the skin prep are not compatible. Exactly. Exactly, because all these products are all made by similar ingredients, but also different.
Because they act different.
Because they act different. Yes. So what I like to tell the students when I talk about skincare for makeup application, I always tell them, I am not looking with my skincare as a makeup artist to treat the skin condition.
Okay, that's a great way to put it.
Yes. My only goal when I apply skincare on a client is to have a flawless makeup application. So for me, it's not like, does this anti-wrinkle cream actually work? I don't know.
Don't know, don't care.
I don't care. But I know that it works very well under makeup.
Okay.
And that's why I use it. Okay. So for example, when I'm working on mature skin, and the estheticians hate me for this, but when I work on mature skin, I actually use a nighttime serum.
And so why do you use a nighttime serum?
Because nighttime skincare, correct me if I'm wrong, typically they're much more rich in active ingredients because they act throughout the night, yes. Right? Okay. So they're
repair mode.
Repair, yeah, they're in repair mode. So when I'm working on a client that has a little bit more texture or aging skin, a nighttime serum, a nighttime serum that's very rich in peptides immediately plump their skin, makes it more supple. This is a new word I learned. Makes it more supple. So when I put the makeup over it, the skin is at its best looking condition. Does it work overnight? I don't know. I have no idea if it works. It just does to the skin what I need it to do, so then I can put makeup over it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yes. So, something else that, sorry, estheticians out there, I know you're going to hate me, but there's a big one, Megan. Oh no, I'm going to get canceled. If you do makeup professionally.
Wait, are you going to say something about preparation age?
No.
Oh, good.
No.
Okay.
No, but I'm going to say something about SPF.
Yeah, I know what you're going to say.
Yes.
So let the people know.
Yes, you people, do not put SPF under makeup. I know. You guys, I just had a conversation the other day with the students and they look at me like that. Like, what did you just say? Okay. Several reasons. First thing first, SPF often is very rich in silicones.
Yes.
Silicones are also one of the main ingredients in cosmetic products, makeup products. Too many silicones don't go well together.
Does it make it slide?
That makes it slide.
Okay.
Yes. The product just doesn't stick. Okay. Or you may have an overload of silicones. So when you have already a lot of silicones on your face and you put a foundation that's rich in silicones over it, there's way too many and they stick on each other. And then the foundation doesn't lay nicely. Okay. Or it comes off. It gets patchy. So that's one reason. Another reason, and there are different opinions on this, but I have tested it with my lights, so what I'm saying is correct. There is one SPF, I never remember which one, that bounces off light.
It's broad spectrum.
Okay, broad spectrum, there you go. So the sun hits your face and you have the SPF on and it bounces off the light.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So when you, and this is true mostly for in-studio pictures or videos and stuff like that. The same way that it bounces off sun rays, it also bounces off artificial light from a strobe light.
Well, that actually makes sense if you think about it.
Yes, because it's just a ray of lights. It's just that one is natural and one is artificial.
So that can also help protect, on another note, that can also help us. On another note, that can also help protect us from blue light.
Right.
Which we're all concerned about nowadays.
Right, because we're also on our phones.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. So if you do makeup for somebody who's having their headshots taken, for example, and they have that type of sunscreen on their skin, their face, wherever the sunscreen is applied, can look paler or have some sort of a white cast over it.
Okay.
It's not, the problem with that type of stuff is that you cannot see it with your eyes. You don't perceive it with your eyes. It's only when the strobe light is being used and then eventually it's on the camera. Okay? Our eyes don't perceive that difference, but the camera does.
Okay. Especially
digital cameras nowadays. So that's another one. So don't use SPF under makeup. You guys, I work in an aesthetic school. Imagine me saying this, but okay. So going back to that, we have skincare, skin prep, and then the makeup application. Okay. So my skincare in my kit is mostly skincare from makeup brands.
Okay.
Because that skincare is not, even though it could have some benefits, over time, if you keep using it, if you're consistent, it's not a skincare that's made to treat the skin.
Well, and so that's a good point, is skincare is made to help over time. It's not a one-time fix.
Right, exactly. And when I see my client, most of them, I see them maybe once a year if they do their family pictures, but
unless you're Megan, and then
unless it's Megan, then Megan will do her makeup often here.
But anyway, on a side note.
But yeah, so I really don't know if it does anything to their skin as far as treating the skin, but I know that it works very well under makeup.
Well, so this is also a great point to bring up, is the quality of skin prep and makeup, because in past times when I've gotten my makeup done and I've washed it off, things like that, my face has broken out after. And I would say that every time I've gotten my makeup done by you, my skin does not break out after. My skin doesn't necessarily itch while the makeup's on. And I really do feel like that has a lot to do with the skin prep
Yes.
and the makeup that you're using.
Yes, well, I use only professional brands, and when I say professional, I mean brands that are made for makeup artists.
Yes.
Okay, so not stuff that you buy at Sephora. The majority of my kit is professional in that sense. So these products that are made for makeup artists, they're all fragrance free, and they're hypoallergenic. And unless you're allergic to a very specific ingredient,
Right.
they work on any skin type because they're made with us in mind. Okay, right? I don't get to choose my clients. Anybody can come here.
Yeah.
Right? So the professional brands that cater makeup artists and are sold to makeup artists, they don't look too fancy. They don't have a fancy packaging. We're supposed to carry them around, with as little weight as possible. And they're also most of the time hypoallergenic. They don't have certain things. The formulas are very simple compared to formulas or products that you buy at the store. Because what you buy at the store is for the consumer, right? So they want to read on the label that there is green tea extract or,
Yeah.
whatever, because clients like to see that. As
Yes.
makeup artists, we couldn't care less if there's green tea extract. I'm not trying to do anything to,
Right.
I just need the product to perform. So when you look at those professional brands that have been around for decades, for us, the formula is always very, very simple. You have your base, which could be waxes and oils, could be silicones, could be alcohol, could be a combination of these. And then you have your film forming agents for longevity. And then you have your pigments in them, color.
Okay.
And that's about it. There's nothing fancy to the product. But they perform well on several different skin types. And then each makeup artist like to prep their client's skin with different products. I do have several options, obviously depending on the client, but I try to keep it as simple as possible because I know that my very few steps all work well together and they all work well with the products that I'm going to put over the skin.
And again, you don't want to complicate it because you have to travel, and that's just more things that you have to carry.
Correct.
Yeah.
I can say that, so with makeup, a great ingredient that if you guys read anything with it, squalane. Squalane works extremely well under makeup. I did try a new Kiehl's toner, for example, that has squalane. It just works fantastic under any type of makeup. Liquid. I also work primarily with cream products that are all wax and oil based. Liquid products have a water component. So sometimes if you don't pay a lot of attention, you may end up in issues. Unless, you buy the whole line from the same brand. So you buy that brand of foundation with that brand of blush, with that brand of bronzer and contour. They're all made to go together. So not a problem. But when you start mixing brands, you have to be careful.
So I have a question about that. In skincare, I don't recommend buying all of one brand. How does that work with makeup?
Yes. So when it comes down to base products, foundation, concealer, blush, contour, bronzer, that kind of stuff, if you stick to the same brand, it's most likely that you're going to be successful in your application.
Okay.
Yes. Because they're all designed. This is why every makeup brand that has foundations also has a primer.
Oh, that actually makes sense.
Yes.
Because they work well together.
Yes, they were made. Yep, exactly. So you may have somebody that really likes a foundation and they use it with the same brand primer, right? And they're like, wow, this is great. And then you have somebody else that grabs the same foundation and hates it. Oh, it doesn't work, it doesn't stick, And then you ask them, well, do you use the primer from the brand? Yeah. And they don't. Okay. So there's that. The makeup products are designed to give you the best performance in the same brand. Okay. So if you stick to the same brand, it's most likely that you're going to have a great result, which makes it easy for the customers at home. You go to the store and you're like, oh, I like this NARS foundation. I'm going to buy the NARS primer and everything that goes with it. Yeah. And you stick to the same brand. Whether, as professional, we like to try different things. So we should like to read ingredients and labels and know what we're using. And so over time, with experience, we can build a kit that's made with different brands, but all the products work together because we know what we're handling, what we're working with. So it's a little complicated. I think this is also why a lot of people have a hard time finding foundation. The most asked question is, what's the best foundation? And I always tell everybody, there's no best foundation. What are you looking for? Do you wear foundation every day? How much coverage do you want? Do you do skincare underneath? What type of skincare do you? Are you somebody that has 15 steps of skincare? Well, there's no foundation you're gonna like because you have so much skincare underneath, it's not gonna stick. So, example, Lady Gaga has her line, House Lab, and their foundation is rich in skincare ingredients and actives too. Okay. There's also some arnica for redness in it. Like, it's very, very rich in active and skincare. So we had students at the school that were like, one of them says, oh, I love it. It's fantastic on my skin. It's the best foundation I've ever tried. And then her friend is like, I hate it. It doesn't work for me. Okay, so why doesn't it work for you? Oh, because it doesn't stick to my face. It moves around. It glides. Okay, so then when I started talking to them, questioning them, turns out that the one that likes it simply put moisturizer on and that puts the foundation. The one that doesn't like it is one of those that has eye serum, this cleanser, this thing, 15 layers of skincare. So that's an overload of skincare. There's too much wet stuff.
So it has nothing to stick to.
Correct. It has nothing to stick to, and the product is just not going to stick. Too wet. Like we also like to say that oil and water don't mix, which is true. Oil and water don't mix. That does not mean that you cannot use an oily foundation or a wax foundation over a water-based skincare. You can. You just have, because pretty much every liquid product has a water-based, otherwise they wouldn't be liquid, right? So it's not true that you cannot layer them. You can, but what makes the difference is the amount of time between the layering. Okay. So if you do, let's say, this is how I work, for example. I do all their skincare, and then I do their brows, and then I do their eyes, and then I do the liner and the lashes, and then I do their skin. By the time I'm done with all of this and I move into the skincare is absorbed into the skin and the extra water evaporated. Okay. So I can put oil or silicones over water. So there are several different factors to take into consideration. Plenty of options. We just had a conversation the other day with the students. Like, they were just like mind blown. They were like, "What?"
I'm mind blown.
Yes, and when it comes to, well, nowadays, because of the technology, we have also a lot of products contain copolymers and film-forming agents. Okay, so you have to think about these like saran wrap for the face. Yeah. Okay, so you just put it on the face and it's okay. So you understand, when you have a layer of plastic on the skin that's dry, and then you try to put something over that's wet, this wet thing is going to lift whatever was underneath.
Kind of like Mod Podge.
Correct. Correct. So again, if you stick to the same brand, you won't have the issue.
No Mod Podge.
Nope, because they were made to go together. But if you start mixing different brands and you don't know the ingredients in these cosmetic products, then you start having problems. Or another example, there are things called mixing mediums in cosmetics, in makeup. These mixing mediums are liquid ingredients that you can add to makeup for different reasons. One, shear down the coverage of a formula. Two, liquefy a cream formula or a powder.
Is that when you mix things on your palette?
Yep. So that's when I add that clear stuff to my products. Yeah. Okay. That clear stuff can do these two things that I just said, but there's also some that make the product waterproof.
Okay.
Yep. So it's basically like film forming agents in a liquid form that you can add to any product. Okay. So if I do, let's say it's July and I'm working on a bride and I want to do her foundation and make it as transfer resistant and waterproof as possible, I can add that mixing medium to her foundation. Okay. But then once it's dry on her skin, it's dry. If I try to go over with something that does not have the mixing medium added to it, it's going to lift what's underneath. Okay. So again, you always have to know what products you're using and how they interact with each other. I would say, as a makeup artist, the minimum that every makeup artist should put on a client's face before makeup is an eye cream of some sort to hydrate the area, a lip balm of some sort for the lips, a serum, and a moisturizer. The serum depends on the skin you're working on. Sometimes instead of doing the serum, I like to do a toner.
Yes, you do.
So it depends, on the client I'm working on and the skin that what the skin needs. I would say that mature skin prefers the serums.
Yes, that makes sense.
Yes, whether younger skin, a toner is fine, especially if you're using, like a really good toner, like the Kiehl's one.
So that means that I don't have mature skin.
Correct, because I use toner on you.
I'm not there yet.
Not there yet. No. No. Serums again, serums are quite rich and intense, so they can be a little too much under makeup.
Can you talk a little bit more about the lip products that you use? Because anytime that you do my makeup, I love the prep that you do for my lips.
Yes. So I use a combination of different products. Depends on what I like better for that for that time of the year. But I do not use anything, any Vaseline, Carmex, none of that.
So happy you don't do that.
Yes, none of Vaseline. That stuff that Americans love. So in Italy, we are told that it's plastic.
Not all Americans. For yourself. Anyways.
I like stuff that's more hydrating and that has actual ingredients. So the one I have right now that I've used on you is a Glow Recipe lip balm. There's another good one that's Laneige. That's another really good brand. There's Lip Mask. Again, that one is a nighttime mask.
Okay.
For the lips.
Is that the one that has the scrub in it?
There's another one. Yep, they also have one that has the scrub in it. Yes. So I like to use more balms, kind of a little richer than just a classic like Vaseline or whatever.
Because again, by the time you get to my lips, after you've done everything else,
yep,
it's soaked in and absorbed.
Yes. And if there's any excess, you just remove it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's as far as skincare. And then makeup artists also have the option to do skin prep. So back in the day, when we started having Instagram and YouTube and the cosmetic brands, were growing and growing and growing, we had primers for everything. So skin prep is your priming part. So we had primers for everything. We were supposed to prime everything: eyelids, lips, face, etc., etc. Nowadays, we have so much more technology when it comes especially to the base that a primer is not always needed.
Okay.
Some clients need it. The majority of them don't. I do have a couple of primers in my kit, but I use them rarely. And if I use a primer on the face, it's very intentional. So I'm not going to grab a primer and put it all over. If I have a client that says, I have an oily T-zone, I'm going to put the primer only on the T-zone.
Because that primer will help absorb that oil.
Correct. Okay. And correct the oil. Yep. Or I may have a client that says, for example, that they get really dry in certain areas of the face. So that's the type of client where I skip the primer completely. Okay. They do not need any primer. I do not need to add any more silicones on their skin or nothing. None of it. I may have a client that says, I have big pores and I want to minimize the illusion, the pores. So that's when I go in with my primer, a pore filling primer, only in the areas where I can't see the actual pores.
So will that kind of blur the pores?
Yes. So basically what it does, it goes inside the pores, fills them. Yep. Exactly. So visually you have, a smoother surface. Yeah. Right. So now that, we're talking about skincare and skin prep, MAC is a brand that was founded by a makeup artist and a photographer, and it's always been a brand for makeup artists, right? That was their original mission before they sold to Estee Lauder. Well, MAC has a whole line called Prep and Prime.
Yes, they do.
So those are all the products that you use to prep the skin for the makeup application. Okay. So they don't have any active ingredients in them, nothing to do anything to the skin, but prepping it. Okay. And it's so important for makeup artists to know the difference between care and prep that MAC has their own line. They just called it Prep and Prime. So even if you don't know, you're like, okay, that's a priming product. So they have a lip primer, they have an eye primer, they have several base primers depending on the finish you're looking for. Like they have plenty of options, but they have their own Prep and Prime line because that is the main difference. So a makeup artist has to know about skincare, has to know about skin prep, ingredients, makeup, cosmetic products.
You wear many hats.
Well, too many. Too many. But yeah, that's kind of how, for a long time, for example, I used to have MAC skincare in my kit. Again, have no clue if it works over time. Never test it, but it works very well under makeup. So for me, it's like done. I don't need to look any further, Now, if I have a client that asks me, how do I correct this and that over time? Well, that's when I'm like, I'm not an esthetician. I can kind of tell you what I think, but that's not my job. My job is to prep the skin so then when I put the makeup over it, it's the best. It lasts longer and blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. Very interesting topic. Love it.
All right. I think that concludes today's episode. What do you think?
I think I said a lot of things. Do you have questions for me?
I think I've asked plenty of questions.
She asked plenty of questions today, you guys. We are
a lot.
Good. I'm happy. We are approaching the end of season 1. I cannot believe that.
Season 1 already?
Yes, already, you guys. That flew by, I feel like.
Yes, it did.
And we are improving. We also have new microphones that eventually we're going to learn how to use, you guys, so we can improve our audio. But thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, engage, help us grow.
And where can they find you?
Oh, they can find me on Instagram at Lucrezia Mappelli, MUA, and on the interweb at www.lucreziamappellimakeupartist.com, and where they can find you, Megan.
On Instagram at refresh_ST, that's ESTY, and on my new website, www.refreshaesthetics.net.
Awesome. See you next time, guys. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.
Bye.